Late at night in a luxury hospital, a pale-faced young CEO rushed into the emergency room on a gurney. She squeezed the nurse's hand, whispering, "Wait, please make this faster. I don't want this to hurt." The doctor hadn't arrived yet. Only a man in an old security guard's jacket ran in. "What happened? An accident?" the nurse asked. He took off his jacket, covering her. Her voice was calm and deep. "It'll be okay, I promise." As he held her hand, the light illuminated him. He had combat medic numbers tattooed on his wrist. She saw them and froze. His name was Ethan Ward, 38, a single father, working the night shift as a security guard at St. Haven Hospital. Every night, he went through the same routine, arriving at 10 a.m., walking the hallways, checking doors, making sure everyone was secure. His 8-year-old daughter, Grace, a third grader, sat in the hospital cafeteria, doing homework, drawing hearts and stars, waiting for her dad to finish his shift at 6 a.m. Most people didn't know Ethan's story. He was a combat medic, served 3 tours, saving countless lives. But when his wife died in a car accident 5 years ago, everything changed. He left the military. He took a job as a security guard, doing something quiet, something simple, something that allowed him to be close to Grace. No one at the hospital knew he was just the guy who held doors, helped push wheelchairs, brought water to patients when the nurses were busy. He never asked for a thank you, never needed one. One rainy Thursday evening, around 11:30 p.m., a crackling voice came over the radio. "Possible trauma. Car accident near the downtown bridge. ETA 3 minutes." Ethan was near the entrance to the emergency room. He heard the ambulance siren, but before he saw the light, the doors swung open. Paramedics rushed in with a stretcher. A woman in her 30s, designer clothes, her face torn and bloodied, pale, her breathing shallow, a strong blow, possible internal bleeding, blood pressure rapidly dropping. Ethan recognized her immediately. Anyone in town would have recognized her. Olivia Hart, CEO of Hart Tech Industries, the state's youngest self-made billionaire, known for her brilliance, ruthlessness, and cold-bloodedness in business. The nurse looked panicked. "Dr. Reyes isn't here yet. He's stuck in traffic. No time." Ethan stepped forward, years of training acting like muscle memory. "Let me help." The nurse hesitated. I know what I'm doing. Trust me." He walked over to Olivia, checked her pulse and breathing, and began applying pressure to the bleeding wound on her arm. She opened her eyes slightly, confused and afraid. "Please," her voice was barely audible. "Just hurry, I don't want to hurt." Ethan looked into her eyes, firm and calm, the way he usually spoke to soldiers on the battlefield. "Not today, ma'am. You'll see the sunrise." Something in his voice made her trust him. Her hand was shaking, and he took it and squeezed it tightly. "Stay with me, focus on my voice. You're safe." He quickly stabilized her, keeping her from losing consciousness, all the while talking to her. "What's your name, Olivia?" he asked. "Okay, Olivia, I'm Ethan. You were in an accident, but you'll be okay. The doctor is on his way. Just keep breathing with me, inhaling and exhaling." When Dr. Reyes finally arrived, 7 minutes later, Olivia's condition had stabilized. The doctor looked at Ethan, then at the monitors, then back at Ethan. "You did it. Just keep her going, doctor. You saved her life." Ethan didn't answer. He simply stepped back. The medical team took control as Olivia was wheeled into the operating room. She turned her head slightly, searching for him. Their eyes met one last time. She mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." He nodded and disappeared into the shadows of the hallway. Just another night shift, just another life saved. Grace waited in the cafeteria, coloring a picture of a superhero. "Dad, look what I drew." Ethan smiled, ruffling her hair. "Perfect, sweetie. Let's go home." He never mentioned what happened. Heroes don't need headlines. Subscribe if you believe small acts can save big lives. The next morning, Olivia woke up in a private room on the top floor of the hospital. Stitches on her arm, bandages on her ribs, her head throbbing, but she was alive. Sunlight streamed through the window. Just as he said, she remembered fragments of memories. The accident, the pain, the voice, strong arms holding her. "You'll see the sunrise." Who was that man? The nurse came in to check her vital signs. "Sorry." Olivia's voice was hoarse. "A man helped me last night until the doctor arrived." The nurse smiled. "Oh, you mean Ethan, the security guard?" "Yeah, he was amazing. He was looking after you. Olivia's condition remained stable until Dr. Reyes arrived. The security guard's thoughts raced. The security guard saved her. Where is he now? Probably at home. His shift ended at tell them the medical team handled everything professionally. Should I mention the security guard? I heard him. No. Her voice was sharp. No names, no unnecessary attention. Marcus nodded and left, but something was wrong. She couldn't explain it. Around noon, Ethan returned for his next shift. He was passing her floor when a young nurse stopped him. Hey, Ethan, MS. Hart asked about you this morning. Is she okay? Yeah, she's fine. You should come over and say hello. She probably wants to thank you. Ethan shook his head. I'm sure she's busy. I need to make my rounds. But as he turned the corner, he saw her. Olivia was standing near the elevator, leaning on a crutch, talking to her assistant. Their eyes met. She looked surprised, then something else, awkward. Marcus whispered something to her. She nodded. Ethan started to leave, but she called after him. Wait, you're Ethan, right? He stopped and turned. Yes, ma'am. She limped closer. Marcus remained, watching. I wanted to thank you for last night. I was just doing my job, ma'am. There was an awkward silence. Then Marcus stepped forward, speaking quietly, but not quietly enough. Ms. Hart, the PR team said. It's best not to make a whole story out of this. You know how the media distorts the facts. Olivia paused, then her face hardened. She looked at Ethan. I appreciate what you did, but I'd prefer if you kept last night between us. I don't need rumors or attention. I'm sure you understand. Ethan's expression didn't change. I wasn't going to say that. Well, I don't like being indebted to people. He looked at her for a long moment. Something in his eyes made her feel small. Then don't, ma'am, just live your best life. He turned and walked away. Olivia froze. That phrase hit harder than the car crash. Marcus cleared his throat. Ms. Hart, your car is waiting. She didn't move, watching Ethan disappear down the hallway. Later that day, a young nurse named Jenny found Ethan in the break room. It was cold. What did she tell you? Ethan sipped his coffee. It's okay. It's not okay. You saved her life. She needs real help. She doesn't need headlines. Jenny. Jenny shook her head. You're too good for this place. Ethan smiled softly. No. This is exactly where I need to be tonight. As Ethan was about to leave, he saw Grace running toward him from the cafeteria. Daddy, guess what? She burst into his arms, breathless and excited. What, baby? My teacher asked. Miss Hart's company donated a whole new computer lab to our school. Isn't that amazing? We have tablets and everything. Ethan looked through the glass doors of the hospital. He saw a black car drive away. Olivia was sitting in the back seat, looking out the window. Their eyes met for the last time. She looked away first. Grace tugged at his sleeve. Daddy, do you think she's a good person? Ethan watched the car disappear into traffic. I think she repays her debts differently. Grace tilted her head, puzzled. What does that mean? He picked her up. It means people show gratitude in their own ways. Sometimes with words, sometimes with actions, sometimes they just need time to realize what's more important. Grace wrapped her arms around his neck. I think both words and actions matter, Ethan smiled. You're smarter than most adults, you know that. They walked toward the parking lot. Ethan didn't look back. He didn't need to. He'd done his job, saved a life. That was enough. But somewhere deep down, he wondered if she'd remember him when the bandages came off, or if he'd just become another face she'd forget. A month later, St. Haven Hospital was holding its annual charity gala. The main sponsor was the Hart Foundation, Olivia's family charity. The event was massive. Politicians, doctors, wealthy donors, media everywhere. Ethan was assigned to security in the main hall. Standard protocol, badge checks, exit surveillance, invisibility. He stood against the back wall in his uniform, watching the crowd mingle, glasses of champagne and fake smiles. Then Olivia Hart walked in, wearing a navy blue dress. Confident, strong in every way, the CEO. The whole world knew she couldn't see him. And why should she? He was just part of the background. The event began with speeches about access to healthcare and donation announcements. Applause echoed throughout the marble hall. When Olivia took the stage, the room erupted in applause. She smiled, waved, and began her speech. Tonight we celebrate the incredible work of St. Haven Hospital, a place that saves lives every day. The Hart Foundation is proud to announce its commitment. $5 million to expand emergency medical services. Ethan listened quietly. Automatically, he tilted the man's head back and began chest compressions. 30 compressions, 2 rescue breaths, repeat. Someone call 911. A colleague from security radioed for help. Ethan continued. Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, 15 seconds, 30, 45. Come on, come on. The man whispered breathlessly, coughing. The man's eyes opened slightly. The crowd exhaled. Ethan remained calm. Sir, stay still. Help is on the way. You're okay. The man squeezed his hand. Thank you. Moments later, paramedics rushed in. They took control of the situation and loaded the man onto a stretcher. Ethan stood, brushing his knees, ready to merge with the shadows again. But then he felt eyes on him. He looked up. Olivia stood at the edge of the stage, frozen, watching him. She saw everything. His movements, his precision, his calm under pressure, his professional confidence. That wasn't just a security guard. Her assistant, Marcus, leaned over and whispered something. She ignored him. She couldn't stop looking. After what happened, Olivia went straight to the hospital's HR department. I need the personnel file for Ethan Ward, security officer. The HR manager hesitated. Mrs. Hart, I'm not sure I can answer that. 5 minutes later, she was sitting in the conference room reading. Name, Ethan Ward. Age, 38. Position, night security guard. Previous employment, combat medic, U.S. Army, 2009 to 2019. Awards, Silver Cross of Valor, Purple Heart, Army Commendation. Reason for discharge, honorable discharge, family hardship. Olivia's hands shook as she read on. Emergency contact, Grace Ward. I should. Daughter, age 8. Attached were photographs. Ethan in uniform, younger, medals on his chest, eyes, sharper. She scrolled to a scanned newspaper clipping from 2017 with the headline, Medic Saves 23 Soldiers During Ambush, Awarded Silver Cross. The article detailed how Ethan had repeatedly run through enemy fire to pull wounded soldiers to safety, how he had conducted field operations in impossible conditions, how he had refused to leave until every last one had been evacuated. Olivia covered her mouth. This man, this hero, was working the graveyard shift as a security guard, and she had told him to keep quiet to remain inconspicuous. She closed her eyes. The file lay silent. Then she made her decision. The next day, Olivia unexpectedly and unscheduled called a press conference. Her PR team was in a panic. Mr. Hart, what is this? We didn't prepare talking points. I don't need talking points. The conference room filled with reporters, cameras, and microphones. Olivia walked to the podium. No notes, no script. She took a breath. Last month, I was in a car accident and almost died. The room fell silent. The man who saved my life wasn't a surgeon, wasn't a paramedic, wasn't anyone with a fancy title. She paused. He was a father, a single father, working the graveyard shift as a security guard at a hospital. Whispers filled the room. His name is Ethan Ward, and I need to tell you who he really is. At that very moment, Ethan was in the hospital cafeteria with Grace, helping her with her math homework. His phone vibrated. Message from a coworker. Dude, turn on the TV right now. Confused, Ethan looked up at the cafeteria TV. His face had gone pale. Olivia was on every news channel, talking about him. Ethan Ward is a decorated soldier. A medic, he served 3 tours, saved dozens of lives under fire, and received the Silver Cross for valor. The camera showed his military photo on the screen. Grace gasped. Dad, it's you. Ethan couldn't move. Olivia continued, her voice shaking slightly. When I asked him to keep quiet about how he saved me, I didn't know who he was, what he sacrificed, what he gave. She looked directly into the camera. Ethan Ward, if you're watching, please stand up. Ethan's colleagues looked at him, and other people in the cafeteria turned around. He shook his head. I don't need this. I don't need this. But Grace tugged at his sleeve. Dad, she's trying to say thank you. On the screen, Olivia's eyes welled up. He reminded me that leadership isn't about power. It's not about control. It's about service. It's about being present when no one is watching. It's about doing the right thing even if there's no reward. The press conference room erupted in applause. Olivia wiped her eyes. Ethan Ward is This world needs someone like that more often, and I was too blind to see it, she said, stepping back from the podium. The cameras continued to flash in the cafeteria. Ethan froze in place. People applauded. Someone patted him on the shoulder. Grace gave him a big hug. "Dad, you're famous." He looked at his daughter, then back at the screen. Olivia gathered a security and medical preparedness consultant, part-time, flexible hours, good pay, and most importantly, he could still be there for Grace. 3 days later, Olivia came to the hospital herself. She found him in the security office, filling out paperwork. She knocked softly. He looked up. "MS. Hart, Olivia, please, just Olivia." He nodded. "Olivia," she said, entering and closing the door behind her. "I wanted to apologize properly, not on camera, not in front of the press, just to you." Ethan leaned back in his chair. "You already did it publicly. That was for the world. This is for you." She sat down across from him. "I was wrong about you, completely wrong." "No, ma'am, you just didn't see clearly. Why didn't you tell me you were a medic, that you were a hero?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Heroes are the ones who don't come home. I'm just a guy who got lucky." Olivia caught her breath. "That's not true." "It's true." Silence fell between them. Convenient. Honestly. Finally, Olivia spoke again. "The consultant position. Will you take it?" "Grace needs stability. If it helps with that, then yes, I'll take it." Olivia smiled. "Good. Because we need you in the next few weeks." Ethan and Olivia worked together often, planning emergency protocols, training staff, and testing security systems. They talked a lot. She learned about his wife, about the accident, how he blamed himself for not being there. She learned about her father, the pressure he felt, and how she built walls to survive in a ruthless world. One afternoon, Olivia was in the hospital's public park, reviewing construction plans for a new clinic. She heard laughter. She looked up. Grace was swinging on the swing, playing with another child who had scraped her knee. Grace pulled a small bandage from her pocket, carefully applying it like a little professional. "It's okay," she said. Olivia came over, smiling. "You're a little medic too, right?" Grace looked up. "Your eyes were shining," Dad says. "Helping people is a family affair." Olivia laughed, a laugh she hadn't laughed in years. "Your dad's right." Grace tilted her head. "Are you the woman on TV my dad saved?" "Yes, I am." "Good. He needed someone to save. Sometimes he gets sad when he's not helping people." Olivia's heart sank a little. This child understood his father better than most adults understood themselves. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small silver bracelet. "I brought this for you." Grace's eyes widened. The bracelet was engraved. "Be brave, little healer." "For me, for you, because I think you'll save a lot of people someday, like your father." Grace hugged her suddenly, tightly. Olivia froze for a moment, then hugged her back. That evening, Ethan found an envelope tucked under his office door, containing a handwritten letter. "Ethan, you saved me twice. Once from death, once from myself. I don't know how to repay you. Maybe I never will. But I'm trying to be a better person because of you. Thank you for seeing me even when I couldn't see you, Olivia." Ethan read the letter slowly, folded it carefully, and put it in his pocket. He looked out the window at the city lights shimmering in the distance. Some people come into your life like storms, others like dawn. He wasn't yet sure which ones, but he was ready to find out. A year later, a cold morning arrived, but the Clear Heart Foundation was opening the Ward Community Healing Center in the heart of the city, a medical facility offering free medical care, mental health services, and veteran support programs. Everything Ethan dreamed of but never thought possible. The grand opening drew hundreds of television cameras lining the street. Families gathered on the lawn. Veterans stood together in silence, some with tears streaming down their gaunt faces. Olivia stood at the podium in a simple gray suit, without designer labels or corporate armor, just her. "A year ago, I almost died," she began. "The man who saved me wasn't a surgeon. He wasn't famous. He was just a good doctor." She glanced away. "Ethan Ward, please come up here." Ethan stood back, shaking his head slightly. Grace nudged him forward. "Dad, come on, they need to hear you." He slowly approached the microphone, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. "I'm not used to microphones," he said quietly. "I'd rather hear a heartbeat." The crowd chuckled. "But if I've learned anything, it's that healing isn't just for the wounded, but for everyone who cares and is willing to heal." He looked directly at Olivia. "We all carry pain, scars, regrets. The question is, what do we do with it? Do we build walls to hide? Or we build bridges to reach others? Grace stood in the front row, clutching the silver bracelet Olivia had given her. On the dark velvet lay a custom-made metal medal, simple and beautiful, engraved in the center. Please, take your time, stay. Ethan's breath caught. Olivia's voice trembled. You told me I'd see the sunrise. Since that night, I've seen 1,000 sunrises, each one because of you. She gently pinned the medal to his chest. Don't go, Ethan, don't disappear again. The world needs people like you. I need people like you. He looked at her, truly looked at her. The ice melted, the walls crumbled. She's finally free. Perhaps there's pain worth feeling, he said quietly. Olivia smiled through her tears. Yes, it really is. The crowd erupted in thunderous applause. The cheers echoed throughout the building, but Ethan saw only 3 things. Grace, beaming with pure pride. Olivia, finally free from her own prison. And the sunrise, its golden lights streaming through the clinic windows behind them.